So, hello guys. I didn't really have much of a video idea for this week, but we got a sponsor for this video, guys. We got a sponsor. Y'all will see why this is funny later. But basically, we're gonna start dissecting the Walten files. So we're gonna start with episode 1. So here is the cast of animatronics, which are all from Bond's Burgers, which is a restaurant franchise, which has an incident. That's all we get for now, an incident in 1984. The cast of animatronics is Bon Bunny, Bozo the Ringmaster, Shaw the Sheep, Billy the Clown, and Banny the Rabbit. I'm sorry, Bunny and Rabbit the same thing? We just have 2 of them? Okay, that's fine. But after they in this episode introduce the restaurant, mention the incident, they move on to a seemingly pretty cute cartoon. But at the beginning, we get some backwards audio. So the backwards audio at the beginning says, "You finally start to remember that old day. They will look for you soon." So we're left wondering, who is they? And it seems like this plot will have something to do with amnesia. And so here's some weird parts about the cartoon. Jack Walten starts to pop up everywhere. And Jack Walten is the founder, like the co-founder of Bond's Burgers. So basically, Jack Walten starts to pop up everywhere. And it turns out he went missing I just wrote down the exact date. We're just going to say this exact date because I'm too lazy to actually put it into normal words. 06/11/1984. And when Cartoon Bond looks for a light, he finds a security guard named Sophie and the real life version of him. And then we switch to some live action footage taken from a camera that turns out is mandatory for you to have, which we find out later in this episode. So this was taken on 10/10/1982. Brian Stells, a storage facilitator for K9, the storage facility, is killed. And his last words were, "He thought I was her." But a bit more on that later. And then there's a pin comment, which seems just like a weird keyboard spam, but it's base 64. And it translates to, "The first pieces of the puzzle has been placed. The puzzle is far from a solution, however. Be wary of the hints that appear over time. One misdirection can throw off this puzzle forever. Psi 05. Which is important because if you translate it back from base 64, it translates to K9, the exact name of that facility. Okay. If you hear papers turning, that's because I wrote all of this down. My hands are tired. And so now we move on to episode 2 with a quick recap. Jack is missing, but maybe not dead, as in episode 1 on Bond's Cartoon TV, we see the words, "Let me out of here." Someone trying to regain lost memories and something. Human, soul, entity, I don't really know, trying to help them. 2 dead security guards. Brian, 1982, was mistaken for her. And Sophie. Was he, the guy mentioned, as in Brian's last words, "He thought I was her"? Was he thinking Brian was Sophie and meaning to kill Sophie? And now, roll the tape at the beginning of this video.
Hello, BSI members and employees, and welcome to the tape that will change the future of the Bon's Burgers brand and the Bunny Smiles company for the better. That's right, after 4 long years of legal paperwork, we finally decided to use our backup plan, which we created after the tragic closure of Bon's Burgers back on July 20th, 1974. Ladies and gentlemen, we now present to you the Relocate Project. But before we go into details, we want to greet all the new Bunny Smiles employees. With the company greeting out of the way, let's start analyzing the Relocate Project by checking what has happened ever since the closure of Bonds 4 years ago. As many of you might have known from previous tapes, our beloved entertainers were safely secured in St. Juana's storage facility some months after the restaurant's closure. Later on, a good amount of business opportunities appeared, such as books, merch, animated movies. We even got a TV show. That's when Felix Kranken had the brilliant idea of restore and reprogram the robots of Bon's Burgers with the purpose of relocating them in a new restaurant that would be opened in a not-so-distant future. A pretty smart plan, right? Making enough money to eventually reopen the Bon's Burgers restaurant is no doubt a brilliant idea. So let's give it up for Felix Kranken, a man with not only a giant brain, but also a giant heart.
And there's this random scene. Let me turn up the brightness on this. Well, that was disturbing. Okay, that's fine. Does he just not agree with his old business partner saying how great he is? Does he just not agree with that? But that's fine. And the relocating tape is a training tape taken on 07/02/1978. And then we have a tech support tape which starts out with just a normal tech support tape led by one of the animatronics, but then we get to a bit of reverse audio. Play that.
Welcome to Technical Support. Today we will focus on the area tour and orientation inside K9, the Bunny Smiles storage facility. We recommend all facility caretakers to have all needed equipment in hand and to always wear the Bunny Smiles uniform. But most importantly, all of you must always, under any circumstance, use your BSI ID card. Once you have all the necessary equipment at hand, we are ready to go. Hello, I see you made it to the storage facility. I bet you must be very excited and nervous to start working here. But let's stop and think. Do you have all the necessary items for your job tasks? I thought so. Let's put on a nice backpack and start packing some items. Let's check the items you will require for your job at K9. Lantern? Check. Snacks? Check. Key? Check. Camera? Check. Wow, it's pretty dark here. You should turn on the light. Turn on the light. Turn on the light. Turn on the... This is the main hall. The storage area. The first door is used to save any kind of cleaning items and supplies. The second door is used to save by kind of prizes and merch that was available in the Bon's Burgers restaurant. The third door is used to hide...
Jest adamownie machni, złowejszerwania nie jest silver jedna wasn't not to like up. You work missing me Irish baby who lives lahda was with any wahdiani right now. Sarah the weird infirmary would go to the restaurant every night hoping that his beloved husband would reappear after being missing for weeks. But no response until one day she heard a voice saying, I know where she is, Rosie, coming from the back.
Then we have Shaw, obviously from that reverse audio, being inhabited by Rosemary, who I'm pretty sure is the wife of Jack Walten. as in that tape, it says she was looking for her husband, who she hoped would appear after being missing for weeks. And Jack Walten did go missing. So we're just going to assume that is it. And then we're also left wondering, they said Rosie, not Rosemary, a shortened version, Rosie, which would assume they knew exactly who Rosemary was. So who was it? Who lured Rosemary back there? Then we have some more footage. It's of three people decided who were workers there needed to spend the night there and work on the relocation project and fix the animatronics. There was one girl and two guys. I am saying this because it is important. The one girl, since it's obviously a horror thing, decides, you know what, y'all told me not to go off by myself, but I'm not going to listen to you, and I'm going to go off by myself, and because I think this key could be important to saving our jobs. So she finds the key to a place called the Back Rooms, where she films it for these two guys, so when she gets back. But she goes into a place in the back rooms. She says it's room 26 or 27, and finds Billy the Clown. You know, this is exactly like how Elizabeth dies. But you know, it's like really similar. I just realized that. But basically, Ashley puts a cassette player into Billy, and it says the names Jack, Susan, Charles, Rosemary, Sophie, and then it cuts off. Then Ashley gets stuffed into Billy. And I'm wondering, are Jack, Susan, Charles, Rosemary, and Sophie all related? Because Jack and Rosemary, I suspect they're married. And Sophie will come into play a tiny bit later. Susan and we've heard the name Susan before, because we know she's been stuffed into an animatronic. But we've never heard of Charles. And now there's a tape which is very disturbing. But you'll see what I mean in a minute, okay? Roll the tape. Future J notes that is not a tape, it's just a small photo. But still, if you read what the photo says, you'll get what I mean by disturbing, because it's still disturbing. The tape has been rolled, hopefully. If I could find it, the tape has been rolled. Then we have for the reprogramming tape, which has an unknown date, unlike the rest of them. We find out Susan is trapped in Banny the Bunny, and they are starving. But we don't know if it's Susan starving from lack of food, or Banny starving from lack of souls. We also see and hear from somebody saying, I think it's text to speech that they're using for this, the rabbit needs to escape, the rabbit needs to escape. And also, the rabbit is starving, the rabbit is starving. And if you wait till the end of this episode, after the credits, you will hear this secret line. Shadow Man feeds me when lights go off. And at the end of this episode, we're left wondering, who is Shadow Man? But if we go down to the comments, your favorite commenter is back again in the pinned comments, hinting at something being left. And if you look through the video again to see what he means, you will find a secret video which I copied the link from the video. So we have that right now. And I screen recorded this. But there are a lot of pieces that are confusing, so I'm just going to say it myself. So this video is an unlisted video called Lucky You, so you cannot just find it on his channel. You have to find the link in the video to get to it. And so there's a line of important dates and some sentimental dates for the business, like their first birthday party, the day they shut down, and they said, "Thank you for all the smiles." It just seems like a normal business video at the beginning. And then we get a date. 06/11/1974. Then there's dialogue, and there's a bit of text too. You must be so confused about what you saw. Don't be scared, my little bunny. Answers will be given eventually. This is only the beginning. I'm going to tell you a story of broken people, beautiful people. He is so sorry for what he has done to them, but there is nothing he can do now. Remember that. Sophie, safety, and pills. Sophie, safety, and pills. Sophie, safety, and pills. Sophie, safety, and pills. Over and over and over. It's just an endless cycle of them saying Sophie, safety, and pills. And then we hear Brian, who, remember I said we'd get back to? This is Brian's death. We hear him yelling, "What was that?" and screaming. Then we see a flashing image of a pill bottle with the name Sophie Walten on it. Jack Walten is the founder. Sophie Walten, Jack Walten. Sophie, safety, and pills. Jack Walten, Sophie Walten, Sophie, safety, and pills. Then we switch to some text of Bond, who turns out to be the he, and he is so sorry for what he did to them, but there is nothing he can do now. Remember that. Oh, can't you see? I made them beautiful. I don't know how. I didn't even mean to, but I did. They try to talk to us through analog. They will be heard. This is their cry for help. Besides, they want us to know what happened that year, but we must be patient. Look, they are filled with life. They dance to the music. They laugh and sing along. They're perfect. They're beautiful. And why that last line is so disturbing is when we see Bond kill Rosemary, he says, "Don't worry, I'll make you beautiful. Don't be afraid, I'll make you beautiful." And then it shows a video. After that, a small clip with some text-to-speech saying, "And she was beautiful." That's all I have for you now. I didn't do the third episode because it's a Sunday. I have school tomorrow, and I don't have the time for that. It's like an hour long. But now let's introduce our sponsor, Kayla. Kayla is the sponsor. She told me to watch this show, sent me 20 different images from it, which were pretty disturbing at the time. I'm like, what are these? What the heck? Hopefully I'm showing the text messages right now. And yeah, that is our sponsor. Kayla is our sponsor. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you.